rhomboid table, not round, no square, no triangle. We come to hang at the game on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're nice at the rhomboid table, our host is formidable. He runs a strange, often sane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's automatic in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Quite incomprehensible, blue wrenching, and we have no plan but to sit and hear Dodge babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
And see it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey, fellow knights of the rhomboid table. Happy Friday to you all on the other side of the computer monitor. Hope you're all doing well on this Friday. A special Friday because Joyce and I are going to be going out of town. So this will be an abbreviated show. We'll be ending the show by 5. My time, so 2 hours instead of 3, maybe even earlier because we really want to get on the highway. We're going out of town because this is Joyce's last free weekend. She goes back to work next week, officially on Thursday, but she's already been back in her room setting things up and doing things, and she'll go in a couple of days next week, but she goes back to work officially on Thursday, and then other than the Gets weekend, it's work until Christmas break. Well, Thanksgiving. She gets the week off at Thanksgiving. So anyhow, I hope you're all well on that side. As mentioned, call out to all those people who watch on replay or watch in the background. First of all, I have not seen or heard anything from Peter at Delft Junction. If anybody's heard anything or has been communicating with them, let me know. Mark from Model Railway Fantasia, if you happen to watch this, I probably should be polite and send an email and see if you're okay. But I do think about you. I've been seeing other people getting the 3D stuff you're printing, and the big move to Poland is going ahead full bore. and anybody else we haven't mentioned that people are wondering about. So let's get to the greetings, and then we'll get on with running some trains and yakking for a bit. So hello to Sir Lee from Anfield Road. We've got Sir Christopher's from the Hobby Blog. We've got Sir Andy, the Hot Dog Pilot. We've got Sir Jean of Ricard. We've got Sir Mick, the Royal Bartender. Hope you're well. We've got Sir Dino from the Model Railway Shed. We've got Sir Dwight of Curly Express just popped in. Sir Peter Jackson from Cheadle Heath is here. Sir Steve Childers is here from Oklahoma. Actually got to go in for a few minutes into his live stream. Fridays have just been busy this summer. I'm not really around at noon to catch the normal streams I catch. Let me see. Sir Digger Evans from the Model Railway just came in. We've got Aaron, Sir Aaron from Manshed Railroad. Thanks for popping in. And let's see. Then our CEO, Sir Tim of Dowd, is here. And we've got Sir Michael of Tommy is here. And did I miss anybody? Because my screen's been popping shorter and longer, shorter and longer. There was some people in your chat earlier, but I think I've caught up with all them. Oh, Sir Ifo Fonzon was here earlier, so I assume he's still in the background. Sir John Benicki just came in. So, that's weird. Why am I being asked to sign into chat on my own thing? Well, I don't want to mess with that now. But anyhow, nothing big to report. Done nothing on the layout. The last week, you'll know my cats ransacked my table like they've never done before. And I was able to get one Loco fixed and running normally again. The steamer, the Rheingold, the Bavarian Rheingold. And then the other one, the Class 371, I think I've sorted out what the problem is, but I'm having a hard time solving it. It's messed up with the contacts. If I press this button and everything goes kaboomy, forgive me. I don't know why my OBS is asking me to sign in to chat on the OBS, but I'll do it. It's insane. Updates and updates, and then all of a sudden different devices don't talk to each other. So just bear with me a second. Oh my goodness. Hey, did I just see Ben from Eagle Creek is here? I saw his video today, and Sir Carl from Bangotcha Junction. Let me see. Did you send a... You sent it to my phone, but it's not there. Oh, Google, you're such a douchebag. There, okay, I think I sorted it. This is just stupid. It's, there. Now I can actually chat on OBS in my own chat. Go figure. Okay, so Christopher, I wore this shirt in honor of you today. We're passing that around. So who else came in? Sir Edward from Happy Valleys is here. Great to have you all. Sir Clive from Newland Railway. Great to have all you here. And Sir Chris from the Valleys is here. One of those stupid software days again. Tell me about it. But yeah, we're all excited. Joyce and I, there's a couple of things about 2 hours south of here. Joyce has always wanted to go see. And she's finally said, well, let's end the summer. Because it has not been the best summer for Joyce, especially. You know, before we went to Australia, she had COVID, and then she had pneumonia and a sinus infection, blah, 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 blah. And then when she came back, she had that big fall and mangled her knee and shoulder and arm and everything. And she's just kind of, in the last couple of weeks, got back to her normal summer routine. And summer's over for her. So I feel really bad for her because, yeah, this has not been, I mean, the trip to Australia, of course, was great. But since we've come back from Australia, she has not been able to do her summer routine. And now it's back to work. And as a teacher, now, again, we're spoiled. We get those summers off. We get those 10 weeks in summer off. But you develop summer routines, and she has not been able to do hers. I shaved my beard down today, and apparently I missed a couple of hairs I'm seeing now on the screen. Hello, Sir Ian. Hello. So anyhow, I don't have anything special to talk about today. I do have a couple of things I bought off eBay coming in, but nothing too big a deal. So let's see what I'm running today. If there's a theme today, it's normal day in Delmenhorst and Bremen. Because what I'm running is an IC2, which runs multiple times a day through Delmenhorst. Then I'm running a DB Regio in red there. They're both class 146s. The white one is a 146.5. The red one is a 146.2. And then a NordWestBahn EMU, which you would see run, although normally through Delmenhorst you tend to see the class class 648 DMUs more than these 440 EMUs. Then a class 218 in the Pressnitz livery. Somebody's pinging me. Hello, Sir Martin, and Sir Andrew of March West Junction is here. Sir Charlie. Michael, what messages? Did I see any messages? I mean, if you were just typing them in here. The Deltic. Yes, I've seen Deltics, and I know what Deltics are. So, have I been to French Lick? French Lick, Indiana. Yes, I have been there at least once in my life. A long time ago when I was a much smaller young lad. But a long time ago. So anyhow, now I'm also running the Metronom, which does not run to Delmenhorst, but it runs from Bremen up to Hamburg, since the other side is often Bremen. And then way in the back, I'm running a smaller Regio double-decker. So I've got, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 double-deckers out. 4 of the 6 trains are double-deckers today. So anyhow, let's get everybody in motion. Like I said, it's going to be a short day today. So, but I do, for silly reasons, want to keep the string intact. And let's get this guy at a good speed. I don't want him going too fast. Yes, I have been to Hell, Michigan, and the basketball player's house, yes, because that's the most famous son of French Lick, is one Larry Bird. All right, let's get this guy rolling. Hopefully he'll roll fine. Everything was good in testing with Cayenne yesterday. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Oh, yeah, Metronom. So I got to go to this one. So let's go Metronom. And then let's go. Oh, and way in the back is a class 147. So anyhow, that's what we're running today. And I got to get the guys on the floor going. So let me go to the floor cam. Hopefully it doesn't look too messy down there. The cat's kind of messed around down here. Okay, what was that? I think they're all online, aren't you? Okay, so I have been to hell and back. I've thrown a snowball in hell. All of it. Yeah, because we're actually, Edward, we are not too far away from Hell, Michigan. Hell, Michigan's about a 45-minute drive from here. Maybe not even that far. Hello, Sir Corey. Welcome in. Oh, is it a boxcar? But right now it's not moving. For some reason, that Loco is having fits. Oh. Huh. Wonder what's going on there. Well, yeah, on the floor we're running the Beatles box cars pulled by the Beatles Class 73. I'm going to let it run a little faster than it should run just to see if that seems to solve the problem why it's starting and stopping a couple of places. Yes, you could go from hell to paradise. The better one is Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and a couple of the surrounding towns. Thank you. This is from the York Railway Museum. My friend Christopher just got one and was wearing it earlier in one of his videos this week. He went to York. He actually went to another railway station, and it begins with an S, and I can't remember the name. Well, there's a story. Somebody put a pony in your... Oh, speaking of which, I wanted to check. Okay, everything's good there. Hey, there's Sir Rick from Rick's Trains. Great to have you here. Nice to have everybody here. Swindon, that's it. Locomotion Swindon. That's the name of it. Yes, Hereford Martin. Sir Martin, let me knight you. Martin from Hereford, you're now able to post a link to your channel, advertise a friend's channel, as long as it's train or some kind of hobby related, no politics, no religion. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a Class 73 that came with a Beatles train set called Singles from Liverpool. And I use it to pull my Beatles album trays. It is going very fast right now. I just want to get it running quickly on that track because it was start installing, and sometimes you just run it a little fast, let the energy pour through it, and then everything smooths out. No, I do not plan on getting a Class 08. As far as UK trains go, there's only a couple of other UK trains and locomotives I would consider getting. I would love a Class 68, preferably in the Trans-Pennine livery and a group of coaches to go with it. Maybe a GWR 800. I wouldn't mind the Avanti Pride livery. I think that's a 397. And then maybe that Duchess of Hamilton in the streamlined version. Hey, did I see Monsville is here? Hello, Monsville. Yes, these would all be British trains because they're at the York Railway Museum, which of course is British. So, although, you know, you could argue the Eurostar is a European train, but that's clearly the British Eurostar going over to France. So yes, these are all British trains because it's from the British National Railway Museum, the York National Railway Museum, which I visited in 2022 and got to meet some wonderful people, including some in the chat today. Carl Braun. We had Andy from March West Junction. Yes, it was 55 years ago yesterday, August 8th, that the Abbey Road album cover was shot. The second to last group photos of the Beatles. The last one was The photos they used for the Let It Be album shot at John's Twittenhurst house. Yes, there is a Japanese train on this shirt. Isn't it a D51 or C51, something like that? I can't keep it straight. To Hole and Back was a Christmas special. Yeah. But at the risk of offending all my British friends, 08s are great for you guys. I don't find anything exciting about them. They're shunters. I don't own shunters. I probably will never buy a shunter. Probably. I always leave a little room for, oh, this came up. You live in Scotland. Well, I spent 4 days in Edinburgh there. And that's the only time I've ever spent in fact, the only time I've been in Great Britain, the United Kingdom, was my wife and I spent the month of June there in 2022. We spent the equivalent of 4 or 5 days in London, split like we did 3 days in London, left, did the rest of our trip, spent 2 more days in London before we left. But we were in Cardiff, Wales, and then Bangor, Wales, about 4 to 5 days each. Liverpool for 5 days, up to Edinburgh for 4 days, York for 5 days, and then back to London. So it was like 3 days London, 5 days Cardiff, 4 days or 5 days Bangor, 5 days Liverpool, and then 4 days Edinburgh, 4 days York, and then 2 more days in London. So Charlie is from Glasgow, so a Glaswegian. All right, I think that guy's running it, and I will go to the multi-view so you guys can see all around the layout right now, even though if you're on your smaller phone devices, it makes things very hard to see. But this is a live stream that looks better if you watch it on a TV, if possible. Obviously, not everybody can. 08s are a reminder of all the lovely yards and sidings. And again, that's why when you're in the UK, those are, it's just like, for example, in Germany, since I do German trains. There is a type of train very popular in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria called the crocodile. And every German has them. I think they're ugly. I will never buy a crocodile. But most German collectors have them. But A, I think they're ugly. And B, I don't have a use for a crocodile. So that gets me in trouble with all the German train guys. That's right, Edward. Hey, Sir Raymond of Legs is here. But again, that's the other thing, Martin of Hereford. I am relatively new into the hobby. I was not, even as a kid, my dad bought me a model train set. I never played with it. I thought it was boring. And that was in the 1960s. And I had no interest in model trains. Didn't even, I mean, in my part of the world, a train was an inconvenience when you were trying to get from one end of town to the other and you got stopped at a train crossing. I mean, you know, some people are idiots and cuss it out, but I understood, hey, it's a train, that's a train crossing, they're doing a job. I was never that rude. But it's like, oh shit, I'm late for work and this train's gonna make me late for work. In the 45 years I had a job, I was late to work once, and that was by 3 minutes, and yeah, because of a train. But that's neither here nor there. Was always very much on time, if not too early. But, so I have no nostalgia about trains, and I don't know anything about trains. As everybody here could tell the story that's been here more than a year, or even 3 months. My passion for trains kicked in when I started traveling by train in Germany, hence all my German trains. I fell in love with the German rail system. Whenever Joyce and I go to Germany, we travel everywhere by train. We never rent a car. It's always by train. In fact, we're putting together our trip to Germany right now. We've already set the dates and where we're going to stay through that trip. We're going to do a diversion to Denmark and stay with an axe murderer for a week. So, yeah, Martin, I think I was just asking, what got me into German trains was traveling by train in Germany. And it was a process where between the years 2003 and 2016, so if you count 2003, 14 years, I took a group of my students from my high school here in Toledo, Ohio, USA. I took them to our sister city, Delmenhorst, Germany. And we lived in Delmenhorst for 3 weeks every June after the school year. And while the kids were there, we took them on what we'd call day trips, where we'd go to certain historical sites in the region where it only took a couple hours by train to get there, spend the day, and then come back. And then we also had 2 special trips. We spent 3 days in Berlin, and then they had one just let's have some fun and get away from the whole sister city thing. And we would spend 4 days on the Rhine, down in a town called St. Goar, just south of Koblenz. Or we would stay in the Alps in a town called Garmisch-Partenkirchen, actually in a suburb of Garmisch-Partenkirchen called Bergheim. And then, or we would stay in the city of Dresden, just outside the city of Dresden, in that part of Germany. And we took our students everywhere by train. It was just the easiest way to go. And traveling by train, we fell in love with. So after about 10 years of doing this exchange, I thought it'd be cool because I would teach my students, my third-year students would learn about the German transportation system. So I started looking at buying a model train to put in my classroom, and I bought a Märklin ICE3. Joyce said it was too nice and too expensive to go into the classroom and risk getting broken, that I should buy a much cheaper one to put in my classroom, which I did. And she said, get some track, and my kids got me some track for Christmas and a controller. I set it up on the table, played with the functions. It was digital. It was 3-rail. All my track here is 3-rail. And it went from there. No, Ifo, I'm hoping that will be a pleasant part of it, but no, Ifo, obviously our trip to Denmark is just to get up, and we're going to spend a few days with that crazy Dane, Jean Ricard. Well, yeah, Jean Ricard, but if you're an axe murderer, it would be a very short rest of my life, wouldn't it? Hey, Sir Anthony of Middleport Junction, welcome in. Great to have you here. So your mother was from Germany. Okay. See, my three of my 4 grandparents were born in Germany. Most of them emigrated to the United States before the turn of the 20th century as children. You know, they all came over before the age of like 10, I think it was. They were all children when they came over. 3 of my 4 grandparents, and then my uncle, my dad's older brother, flew bombers in World War II, and he was stationed in Germany and even did the Berlin airlift, or as they call it in German, the Luftbrücke, the air bridge. And while stationed there, he met a girl living in Berlin, and over the 2-year period he was stationed there, they became cuddle bunnies, and he married her and brought her family over. So I also had those relatives. So a lot of old German relatives around me as a kid. I grew up speaking quite a bit of German as a side language. You know, I wouldn't say fluent, just I knew a lot of basic phrases. No, I do not have a lot of plans for too many more Märklin steam locomotives. Now, there is a little bit of scuttlebutt that Märklin is considered doing a Mallard. There's a little bit of scuttlebutt. It's like rumor beyond rumor that within the next couple of years, the Flying Scotsman sold well, and they're thinking of doing the Mallard. There's rumor they're going to do another UK locomotive. And a couple of people on my German forums have said they think it'll be the Mallard if it happens. Because right now, it's just talk. Okay? Nothing is planned. Maybe there's somebody designing something and it's leaked, but it's just talk. Anyhow, so I have a Class 23 steamer I'll be buying, and I do eventually want to get a non-Christmas version of the 01 or maybe even an 03, and that would be the end of steam locomotives for the foreseeable future. I just don't want to expand too much further in the steam world because I've got so much modern era stuff I'm catching up on. I can't say that they will, Michael. It's just scuttlebutt. They've only done one, the Flying Scotsman, which came out last year or late 2022. I forget when it came out, 2023 or 2022. There's just talk that they are thinking of doing another one. So I wouldn't say it's something they're going to do every couple of years. I think they're just, well, the Flying Scotsman sold well. Maybe we could tap into this market one more time. Yeah, I don't know if they could rush it that fast, Ifo. I think, if anything, maybe they would announce it in 2025 and probably be a 2026 release. That's my own personal view. Oh, Eurorail Hobby's got the 44s in. I really regret now not having ordered one of the Union Pacifics because they're all sold out. I could buy them from the American shops, but I'd pay $150 to $200 more than if I had bought it from Lippe, and Lippe is sold out of them. Lippe has none of them in stock. And did I see Sir Randall of Ellison just came in? Great to have you. I would like to get an American locomotive, but what I really want is an American Amtrak, preferably the Acela. I know Lemke has a couple of models they've released, but they only released them in DC, and I don't know how easy they could be converted to AC. It's not that easy, as I learned when I tried to get my Czech 371, and I was like, nope, we can't convert it. You have to do something else with it. And did I see Sir Leslie of Gilpin has popped in? And speaking of which, Peter popped up a couple of videos today. I have not watched them yet. Apologies, Peter. Joyce and I have been running around a lot today to get ready for this trip. So maybe I should stop yakking and maybe start putting up some more cameras. Since I've got 16 cameras, I might as well show them, except that's the wrong way to go. Oh, there's no doubt, Jean, that I will have more trains and locos because there are more styles coming out. I will ride more trains, and I might see something that grabs my fancy. Actually, I think I'm over 16 cameras, but I can only... I think I have 15 active today. There's one other one I technically have active, but it's fighting with a camera. I think it's this one. See, I've got this camera as well, which is camera 17, I think, but it is fighting with another camera because this is a cheap generic one, and it's fighting. There, that's everybody at the Bremen corner. It's not really Bremen. I still want to design and build the big Bremen dome that goes over their 12 of their 17 lines they have there. Yeah, the camera actually, the funny thing is it only fights in OBS when all the other cameras are on. The camera works fine if it's in isolation, like when I'm using it for something else. It's only when it's in OBS and all the other cameras are on that it acts up. Going to ride the HAB narrow gauge train somewhere in the next 3 weeks. Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow, Randall. That's a rough day. Well, if you fall asleep, at least we won't hear you snoring. I'm sorry, that was mean to bring that memory back up. Leslie Gilpin says, the next video recorded as a pair of 20s. I'd rather see a pair of 36s. Oh, wait, no, sorry. But no steamers this week. Sorry, guys. I'm giving all the steamers the week off. But, again, the theme, you could say double-deckers because I'm running 4 different double-deckers. The ones on the middle there that just went around the little bend there, the short loop, those are the Hobby Trade ones. Hobby Trade made Denmark, which I still think are some of the prettiest, some of the best lit, prettiest stock cars. I know Hobby Trade one time made some Schleswig-Holstein, the German SAH livery ones, which I would love to get my hands on if I could ever find them. Well, hello, Sir Michael from Carvel Studios. The Cumbers and Toltec. But see, my thing is, I don't have a, quote, line I want to run. I guess the Severn Valley run would be kind of cool to go over that aqueduct. And then, what is it, the Glenfinniog, or what's the big aqueduct that everybody takes the gorgeous pictures of the trains going over, that big, long one? That one would be cool to ride over. Glenfinniog, what is that really big aqueduct that is a train, you know, that the trains run across? I just see these gorgeous steamers, and everybody that does a UK steam train calendar always has a train going over that. Glenfinnan. Okay. But I don't know if I would like to ride that or be somewhere where I could see a train going over it. I think going over it could be cool, but I think seeing a train go over it would be cooler. Otherwise, the only train I'm really looking forward is Joyce and I, at this time, plans can change. In 2026, we're going to come to the UK again. See, Joyce and I plan this stuff way in advance. So 2020, you know, October, we're coming to the UK for Gets. And then 2026 will be our vacation through, would be the vacation through UK again, where we'll spend about 4 weeks in the UK. but we're really planning on arriving in London and then taking the Caledonian Sleeper up to Inverness. And just do that whole trip by train, sleep through the night. Ledbury Viaduct is also good. Hey, Martin, if you could you find like a picture, an online picture or a link to that and let me take a look at it? Because to be honest, I may have seen it on somebody's channel, but I'm not remembering it by name. Glenfiddich. There you go. We'll get this to alcohol. Hey, Sir Tom of Couples is here. Great to have you. Hey, did I see Sir Ian of Fox Junction is here? Hope you're well. You've apparently been having some good meals, according to your Facebook post. I know you also had a couple of rough days up there, too. Actually, my thing is I don't drink whiskey. I know Glenfiddich is a famous whiskey, but I don't drink whiskey. I drink an occasional beer, an occasional brandy, and then apparently I like Eastern and Southeastern European moonshine because Parlinka from Hungary is really good, which Artie's cousin makes, homebrew. And then I've had Ulishka homebrewed from a restaurant in Delmenhorst a few times. Really good stuff. But I'm not a liquor drinker. It's beer, wine, and then there are a couple of brandy, and then there's a couple of liquors. I'm not even a big fan of schnapps, even being part German. I'm not a big fan of schnapps. Yes, Tim, Cardiff is probably on the list again. It's probably the only place we'll go back to in the UK because Joyce loves Cardiff. We just don't, if we're going to go from Inverness, then Cardiff would be our last stop coming back before we go on to London. But right now it's up to Inverness. Actually, I lied because we're going to go to York again. We're also going to go to York. So the idea is we would go up to Inverness, over to Glasgow, York, over to Birmingham, and then down to Cardiff. We'll have to see how the train routes work. What's the best way to do that circle? Because we always have to wind up back in London for our flight home. You give guided commentary on the Settle Carlisle line. Well, there you go. Tom's Märklin, Glenfiddich ain't bad, but there's better. Well, you're a German, everybody's got different things. Just like when certain UK guys rip on German beer as being too bubbly or what have you. Everybody's got their taste. Dino, I am certainly hoping so. I mean, if we go to York, yes, that we will have that plan. The reason we're going back to York is twofold. One, hopefully to have another. Now, the problem is in 2026, a lot of the York Museum will be closed, if I understand, because it's already got large sections closed. And I think the main hall will be closed in 2026, won't it? Anybody know the details on that? Hey, Sir Andy of Dobson, come in. The Stockton-Darlington craze of next year. Well, considering I don't even know what the Stockton-Darlington craze is, I guess, yes, I'm missing out on it. Food is food. Learn that in basic training. No, I'll disagree. Obviously, when you can't choose, food is food, but when you're not in that kind of situation, I can afford to be picky. And I have my favorites, and I'm a picky eater. I'm a picky eater. I have to do Beamish. Stockton Darlington is 200 years old. Means nothing to me, guys. I'm sorry to share my ignorance once again. Yeah, we get a lot of Andys in here. A lot of dandy Andys. Well, I don't know if they're dandies or not. Ah, okay. Now, see, the thing is, people have to understand, even though I'm into model trains, when Joyce and I do a trip, our trip is not about trains. We travel by train in Germany, and we obviously traveled by train in the UK, and we like traveling by train. It's easier than driving, so we do like to travel by train. But when we go to the UK or we go to Germany, we're not going to see trains and experience trains. We're going to see places and experience people. And then if there's something train related and we can fit it in, we will. But that's the problem. Like when we went to Australia this past year with Artie, when we went to Germany last year, we got you got to go see this, and you got to do this, and you got to go here, and you got to do this train thing, you got to do that train thing. And the fact is, we don't plan on hitting, we like when we went to the UK, we went to the York Railway Museum. Yes, in Liverpool, we were close enough to go down to Crewe if we wanted to, but that didn't hold an interest for us. My apologies. There's a lot of heritage train lines that, yes, it's cool, but when Joyce and I plan a trip, there are specific things we're trying to see and get to. And then it's just sort of well, if we have time and if we're okay. Now, like going to York, where there was the big rail museum and we had an opportunity to meet a bunch of people, which we were so amazed that so many people came to York to meet us. It was like, wow. And we were thrilled because, meeting Richard Brown from Trains in the Attic, meeting Andrew McDowell, we had a wonderful time. Carl was the last one to leave. And after everybody else left, it was just Joyce, Carl, and me. Carl gave us a wonderful little walk through this one section of the York Museum and told us about some things that really showed Joyce a bunch of cool stuff. We really appreciated that, Carl. I don't know if we've thanked you enough for that. So like Germany this year, I do plan on going to a few model train shops. Like there's a shop in Aachen I am going to go to. It begins with an H. I can't remember the rest of it right now. But I'm going to that model train shop in Aachen. We are going to Miniature Wonderland again because anytime we go to Germany, I'm going to Miniature Wonderland. Anytime Germany is on the schedule, Miniature Wonderland is the first thing penciled in. When are we going to go to Hamburg and go to Miniature Wonderland? Now, I will say our 2023 trip to Germany did have some very key model train related places. We went to, we stayed near Stuttgart so we could go to the Märklin. I wanted to go see the Märklin factory and the Märklin. And we did decide we were going to do 3 trips to the 3 biggest public model train exhibitions. So we started off with Jean Ricard in Hamburg and went to Miniature Wonderland. We then went down to, we eventually wound up in the Stuttgart area, and we went to the town of Göppingen and went to the Märklin, so the Märklin factory and their big display. And then while we were staying in Salzburg was close enough, we were able to go up to the Porsche Traumwerk, Hans-Peter Porsche, the owner of the Porsche car name and business, etc. And he's got a toy museum, but it has a really high-tech model train lab. Now, while we were there, we went to this town, not there, but while we were in Germany, we went to this town of Titisee and found this little Märklin Museum in Titisee, and that was cool. We weren't planning on that. We stumbled across it and said, all right, let's go in. But we when we sit down, we're not looking at, how many train museums can we go to, what heritage trains to ride. To be honest, that's not our priority list. Our priority is certain historical places, certain nature, land features, rivers and oceans and waterfalls and stuff like that. And then we ride the trains, and then we will train spot when we arrive at stations and are waiting for our connecting trains. We'll do a little train spotting there. Hey, Kieran, how are you? Did I see Michael was taken off? All right. Well, thanks for visiting us. See you later, Sir Michael. Now, I will tell you this. Having talked about all that, the biggest disappointment, and let's go to... Did that camera freeze? Let me see. Yep, that camera froze because a train just went by there. Why are you not working? Because I went to the E-Meet camera. All right, let me see if I can fix it. This is going to go black for a second, people. Actually, it went blue. Yep, and I brought it back, because usually that works, but on a couple of cameras it doesn't work. But there we go, that's working. So we'll watch this IC2 coming through the Dumb and Horse station. Woo, he's trucking around. See, I don't show these cameras as much just because I'm going to slow him down just a bit so he'll stay in cameras a little bit more. All right, let's go to this view. Where is it? Quick, I want to get to it. One view. Yeah, this guy coming down the back right here, the one that's got its pantograph stuck up. Let's see if I can catch it on... there he goes. He's going to come around here in just a second. There he goes. That is my oldest owned locomotive. I bought that in February of 2016. So he's my oldest owned locomotive. Hey, Tammy and Ray, hello. Sorry, Ray, I'm not running any steamers today. Sorry about that, but you don't see Artie in any of the cameras. No, Artie got put in safekeeping to protect him from my grandson, Kyan. I've got Artie and some of the characters I had, including Waldo, because Kyan sees them, and if they're out here on the layout, that means he gets to play with them. It doesn't mean that, but in Kyan's world, it means that. Oh, I've been there, Efo. I've been there, and it's not most likely. That is where Teutoburger Wald took place. There is no, I mean, some other places try to claim, but there is absolutely, that is where a large part, if not all, the battle took place. The battle, because when I was a kid and first read about it, it was like a 1 or 2 day battle. Now they think the battle actually lasted anywhere from 3 days to 5 days. That the Romans actually used their horse and carriages to build ramparts to defend themselves from the attacking tribes, and that the battle, and that they would try to get moving and push their way on. But yeah, the Varusschlacht, as it's called, the Varusschlacht. I've been there because I'm a huge Germanic tribe against the Romans. That's along with medieval warfare, sort of the classical warfare and the Romans against the German, but I root for the Germans against the Roman Empire. So Teutoburger Wald's one of the big events. So I got to go to the Kalkriese. I've been to Detmold, where they originally thought the battle had been fought, but it wasn't Detmold. It's definitely Kalkriese. And yeah, I've been to the museum there. Very cool. But people always say, how could you say the battle was there? They've never found anything. You got to remember, most of the material, first of all, it was a swampy area, so the leather and wooden material would rot away over the centuries. Secondly, anything metal, most of the metal stuff, the Germanic tribes would have absconded with and kept and used, because access to certain metals, especially the stuff the Romans made, higher quality metal, would have been hard to come by in that part of Germany at that time in the world, especially if you're rebelling against, it's hard to say rebelling, but defending yourselves against Roman aggression. Wayman Legs is singing some CCR. Hey, Dominique! Dodge should make a beat. Well, I think the issue is, first of all, Bumblebee is a Volkswagen Bug, isn't he? And so the Dodge Super Bee is Dodge's logo, but I think they would. I don't think they want to get into crossing and doing that. I don't know that it would sell enough to, a lot of people buying Dodge Chargers and Dodge Super Bees, because the original Super Bee wasn't even a Dodge Charger. It was a Dodge Polara. But the people that would collect those would probably not be necessarily Transformer guys, too. I don't know that there'd be enough there to do it. Was the battle in Gladiator true? No, it's a fictional battle, and it's highly unhistorical. Many of the people in it are historical, like the young emperor at the end, but he wasn't killed in the way the movies show. He actually was killed by his own soldiers later in a different event. But actually, at that age and stage of his life, he was actually a fairly popular emperor. Hey, Andy81E, welcome into another Andy. Yeah, of course, the big thing are the coins. They found the skeleton of a horse and the remains of a Roman military wagon cart there. They have found some arrowheads, some hilts, some things, but the people that want to say that's not where the battle was fought, they always go back to, well, how come we haven't found all the arrowheads? How come we haven't found all the swords? Because anything the Romans wore armor-wise that was metal would have been taken. They would have grabbed all that stuff up and used it, or taken it back to their camps, their villages, and melted it down to reuse it. So that they find anything at all. But it fits with all the descriptions. For anybody who doesn't know what Evo and I are talking about, in the year 9 AD, a former Roman military officer who was a German tribesman, depending on, the Romans call him Arminius, and so the historians call him Arminius. Germans tend to call him Hermann, although more and more, even at the museum, they now call him Arminius. They use the Roman name, which actually bothers me, because Arminius would not have been his name. That's a Roman name, and Arminius would have been a Romanization of whatever his Germanic name was, so Hermann's probably not a horrible guess as to what his real name was. But he was an officer in the Roman cavalry, and quite heavily in, but the way the Romans treated the Germanic tribes people, the way the Romans treated the volunteers into their army, the auxiliary troops and so forth, the Germanic cavalry, they were paid 1/3 of what Roman soldiers were paid, but they were doing most of the fighting. And they didn't like that. And they were being abused. Plus, the Romans were trying to expand. They wanted to expand the border from the Rhine all the way up to the Weser River, which runs through Bremen. And Arminius finally said, you know what? Enough's enough. We got to teach these guys. So he set up a trap where the Romans were trying to march back to a southern camp. I shouldn't say southern, but south of where the Calcresa was. And he convinced them that the German tribes were planning an ambush there and told them to go north and take this old path that the German tribes always use. And for 1,985 years, nobody could figure out. All they knew was this battle happened, but 3 Roman legions were destroyed. And in fact, those Roman legions, the loss was so embarrassing that Octavian, the emperor, he banned those 3 legions' names. So Rome always had 3 legions, but it suddenly they had 1 through 16 and then 20 through 23 or 20 through 33 because he banned those legions. And supposedly Augustus, Octavian, his last words when he died in 14 AD were, Varus, Varus, give me my legions back. Varus, Varus, where are my legions? Varus, give me my legions back. That loss haunted him. It was not necessarily the worst loss in Roman history. I think Cannae is considered, Cannae, and then there was Adrianople. I think Romans lost more soldiers at those battles. But in terms of percentage of troops wiped out, Teutoburger Wald was the worst defeat of the Roman Empire because 3 entire legions were wiped out. About 500 guys made it back to Rome. 500 guys out of the equivalent of about 20,000 soldiers. Each legion had about 5,000 men, plus you usually had an additional 1,000 to 2,000 auxiliary troops attached. Well, hopefully, Dominique, that will. Well, Dominique, I don't even care about Ford. Nah, Ford. It's Ford. It's not Dodge. Not interested. But yeah, hopefully they'll listen to you. CCR was a good band with a great songwriter, and what John Fogerty's brother and other bandmates did to John Fogerty and what the manager did behind Fogerty's back is awful. And yeah, that's a rant for a day. I like CCR, but I hate to say CCR. It was John Fogerty and his backup group, and it wasn't his ego. He literally wrote all the songs. His brother tried to say, "Well, we helped." And it's like, no, Fogerty wrote them and then said, here's what I want you to do on the song. And it was very dirty business what the 3 guys did to Fogerty. 4 guys, the manager and the other 3 guys in the band. Because it was his songs. And then when he made his comeback in the 80s, the manager and his brother sued him because one of his new songs, The Old Man Down the Road, sounded too much like CCR. And they sued him for this. Hey, that sounds like, well, the songs you wrote for us. We're going to sue you. How dare you sound like you? That'd be like the Beatles suing John Lennon for sounding like John Lennon. How dare you sound like John Lennon? Saul Zaentz, yeah. Saul Zaentz was a piece of work. I forget what legion it was that they lost the eagle. I don't think the legion disappeared. I thought they got beat in a battle and lost the eagle and had to reclaim it. And that was a couple of hundred years. Because again, those three legions were reinstated after Augustus. But when for the 5 years Augustus ruled after that battle, because Augustus died in 14 AD and the battle was 9 AD, he banned, he had them struck from history. And the problem is, because Augustus was seen as one of the great Roman emperors, because of politics, a lot of what little we know of the Kalkriese, the Teutoburger Wald battle, was written 40, 50 years after the event. And the most famous writer is a guy named Tacitus. And Tacitus was way after the battle, and he wrote with a bias to trash Varus and make Varus sound like he was a complete numbskull and idiot, because the Romans couldn't conceive that somebody tricked them and beat them. The Romans couldn't handle that defeat. It was too embarrassing for them that these barbarians, and by the way, the Latin word for barbarian is German, which is where the word German comes from. I don't think Tacitus wrote anything that you would specifically call historical. Everything he wrote was slanted, but unfortunately, for centuries, anybody that was Roman that wrote history, we took it for truth. You know, it's like reading Caesar's Gallic Wars and believing that's 100% accurate in how things happened. But Tacitus got a lot of work from a writer called Cassius Dio. And Cassius Dio, according to legend, actually interviewed both some of the 500 survivors from the battle that escaped, but also 7 years after the battle in 16 AD, Marcus, and I forget his second name, not Marcus Aurelius, two generals led a revenge tour and marched up the Rhine River and over to the Weser and beat Arminius in a battle. But by that time, Arminius didn't have the support. In fact, right after that battle, a bunch of the Germanic tribes people, to make a deal with the Romans, betrayed Arminius and handed him over to the Romans. But the Romans always exaggerated the damage they did and the number of people they killed to get revenge for the Teutoburger Wald. But Cassius Dio supposedly interviewed some soldiers who had escaped and gotten back to Rome, as well as some of the guys that were freed in the year 16 during that revenge campaign. And then there's actually, we don't have records of it, but at least two Roman scholars from the era write that there were some writings from a couple of guys that escaped in the year 30, like the mid-30s, after another Roman campaign that these Romans kept, Roman army surrounded and captured this village, and they found 4 guys that were supposedly legionnaires from the original battle 26 years earlier. The 34-35 campaign, the year 34-35 campaign, they freed. And supposedly these guys all gave their accounts of what happened to Cassius Dio, and there was another guy, his name began with an S, and I'm forgetting it, Sisyphon, something like that. And these guys are supposedly the earliest accounts, and Tacitus and other writers then borrowed heavily from them. But the thing is, Cassius Dio was a Augustus and apologist, and basically Varus was to blame. Varus didn't do this, Varus didn't do that, Varus was incompetent. Varus was not one of Rome's great generals, but his history up until Teutoburger Wald suggests that he was a competent military commander. Kind of harsh, but competent. He had served in the Middle East. His problem was, he got assigned to an army, he got told the two guys that Augustus wanted to lead the campaign had died in battles the previous couple of years, so Varus was sort of like third choice. So he recalled Varus from the Holy Land and put Varus in charge of this thing. And the only guy that could help Varus was Arminius. Arminius knew the lands, he knew the tribes, he knew the people. He grew up as a hostage in Rome, and he knew the Roman, and he could be trusted. And it was Augustus and the Roman military tribunal that stuck him with Arminius, and Arminius was already plotting the ambush. So poor Varus was kind of coming into a situation that was already set up and out of his control. And the one guy that could help him happened to be the one guy leading the rebellion. And there, that's Anthony's history lesson for the day. Oh, that's cool, Charlie. I've been to a couple of Roman things, but I'm not big into the Romans. I'm kind of anti-Roman. The Romans were douchebags. That's my attitude. The Romans were douchebags, and too many people, they're proud of, even in the UK, I meet a lot of people that are proud of what the Romans built up in the UK and how great it is to have this Roman and Roman law. And actually, Roman law, we started writing laws in Roman because Latin became the language, eventually the lingua franca for the educated for many centuries. And that's kind of the church influence in Europe, that Latin was the language. The Romans are not nearly as great or good or as a lot of historians that are really before I became head of the Department of Foreign Languages at my school, we had a Latin teacher there, Marcia Nautz. And Marcia was such a Romanophile. She loved the Romans. Everything Latin and Roman was perfect. That's the way it was. Her license plate was 753 BC. She was huge into the Romans and anything Roman. And the Romans invented everything and made everything and are, the logic and the law behind everything. And I just loved to push her buttons. And the Romans didn't invent that, actually. No, the Romans didn't do that. The Romans built amazing marvels, but they learned those same things from Greeks and Babylonians, and there's a history of just adapting previous tech to new tech. And so I always get a little when people start ragging on how great the Romans were. So I go the opposite way and kind of downplay the Romans. Aqueducts? Yes, and it was beyond, and let's face it, EFO, it was beyond bilingual. Officially, it was Roman or Greek, Latin or Greek, Latin or Greek. But let's face it, a lot of business had to be conducted in multiple languages because they had so many nationalities under their control. Now, the Romans were a great military machine. I won't knock at that. They were, but they also, when they ran into guys that knew how to fight a little differently, they couldn't handle it. That was Arminius. Hannibal beat the crap out of the Romans for 10 years before they finally tired them out and crushed them, because they finally found a young general who fought with new tactics, Scipio Africanus. Of course, he wasn't Scipio Africanus until he beat Hannibal, but... Yeah, well, the Babylonians had the screw, the Archimedean screw. We always give Archimedes credit for it, but we've now seen designs on Babylonian stuff centuries before Sumerian and Babylonian stuff at Nineveh that show the Archimedean screw being used in conjunction with aqueducts. The Sumerians had aqueducts. But again, the Romans were amazing builders, and yes, they were great at adapting the technology of the times to the new needs and that. So I'm not going to say they're a bunch of stupid hacks. I just think we give them too much credit with certain civilization things in the world. All right, Edward, take care of yourselves. I'm still waiting to see if Joyce is going to pop down because we've got less than an hour today. The aqueduct. Again, you know, that still doesn't take away from how hilarious that scene is in Life of Brian. What have the Romans ever done for us? Yeah, they did, but there's a difference between improving it and adapting it and inventing it. I mean, I could show you that Germanic tribes that had no contact with the Romans at the time had sewer systems made out of hollowed logs in some of their villages. You can go up to the town of Goslar, and there's a whole museum there based on it where it shows that the Germans had sewer systems. We tend to give the Romans credit for it, but the Germans had it before they met the Romans, the Germanic people in regions. So the tech was there. The Romans just had access because of their empire to get supplies to make better materials. But yes, they definitely improved tech. But every group that comes along improves tech. That's why I don't like the term the Dark Ages. The fact is, Rome fell because Rome's own corruption and refusal to change and adapt to new things. And we say, oh, the Roman Empire fell. Well, when you had a power, that big power source, you're going to have a power vacuum. And it took 300-400 years before Charlemagne kind of kicked things into gear. And then you have all the plagues breaking out as the world is suddenly becoming a world trade thing, and diseases are being spread more readily from one part of the world to the other. And so, yeah, it does stagnate, but humans were actually progressing overall, big picture, but in little picture frames of 50 years, 100 years, say, well, it kind of stagnated here. Because when you have that big power vacuum and then it disappears, everybody's fighting for a piece of the pie, and if they're fighting for a piece of the new pie, war tech gets improved, but life tech doesn't necessarily get improved until after it settles down. Edward asked, when did Germany become Germany? Officially, Germany as a named country, as a true named country, is 1871. Before that, you had Prussia and this, and this, and this, the Kingdom of Westphalia, the Kingdom of Saxony, blah, blah, blah. And before that, you had the Holy Roman Empire, which was neither holy nor Roman. And before that, you had the Frankish Empire, the Frankish Kingdom, and then the various Germanic tribes. Although some of that land, because again, remember, German is the Latin word meaning barbarian. And so Tacitus used that word to describe all the people north of the Danube, east of the Rhine, and called them all German. And so that word stuck, Germans. Now we use it linguistically and historically in the term Germanic. And of course in Western culture, we call that land Germany. But of course Germany doesn't call itself Germany, it's Deutschland. Because Deutsch is I could spend half an hour teaching you the history of the word Deutsch, which is also the word Dutch in Low German, as well as what we refer to the people of the Netherlands, the Dutch. It's the same word. But no, Germany became Germany in 1871 when it was the German Empire. That's when it was first now called Germany. The whole united thing. Under the Prussians, it was Prussian rule. But it was Prussia and the German Empire. But that was the first time that it was officially on maps as a unified nation called Germany, 1871, when it was incorporated. And then, of course, the Prussians got knocked out after World War I. The Prussian leadership, the kings. Because that was the thing. The three Prussian emperors of Germany were always King of Prussia and Emperor of Germany. But then, of course, you had the Weimar Republic, and then Nazi Germany, and then you had the split Germany after World War II. But it was officially one country called Germany, 1871. Before that, you could look on maps and it would just have broad letters Germany, and the people would refer to their language as German, but most people knew them by their names. For example, if you guys go to American history and we talk about the Hessian troops that fought with the British, that's because many of the regiments came from Hessen, a state over there that was part of Hanover at the time. And of course, the King of England also ruled Hanover. Some of those last kings there were actually Germans. In fact, the ruling family to this day is a German family. The Windsor family were originally, what was it? Saxe-Coburg, something like that. Well, hello, Klaus de Bas. Willkommen in, although that's German, not Dutch. Unfortunately, I really don't speak Dutch. I can read Dutch sort of well. But let's add you as a moderator. We'll watch a train go around the layout today. So the camera 1. Camera 2 going into the Delmenhorst station, and then see the whole Delmenhorst side. Whoops. I think most of us hope that. Hey, Sir Chris of the Model Train Aficionado. Nice to have you here. Yes. Is that, would I call that, would I say Klaus? I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Klaus? Klaus? I do have steam locomotives, none running today, but I do have a few steam locomotives. I've got a class BR50. I've got 2 class 18s, S36s, both Rheingold. I've got a class 01. There's my class 01, the Märklin Christmas 01. And then Prussian 8, a PR8. I've got the Flying Scotsman. And is that everybody I've got in 3-rail? Yeah, I think that's it. So I got 5 or 6 Märklin steam locos. I am a modern era train guy, but I have picked up a few steamers over time. Oh, I thought I mentioned the BR50. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the BR50. I think it was the first one I mentioned. The BR50, the 2 Rheingolds, which are one's an 18.4 and one's an 18.5. And then the P8, and then the Flying Scotsman. I think that's everybody from the Märklin world. Yeah. Hey, Andrew Shortbread, how are you? Oh, well, that sounds cool, Mick. Yeah, everything I run is, well, it's Märklin or Märklin related. You can see in this video, Klaus, that it's C-Track. It's Märklin C-Track. Most of my trains are Märklin, but I have quite a few Roco locomotives and some Piko. I even have a Mahano. Anyhow, Andrew, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Oh, well, yeah, there's Emma. I forget about Emma. I don't count Emma as official. That was a toy for my classroom, and now it's my grandson's first Märklin locomotive. He likes to run Emma. He likes to do shunting with Emma on this little test track I have here. That's Emma from Lukas, Jim Knopf and Lukas der Lokomotivführer. I will be adding a BR23 sometime this year, sometime maybe as late as Christmas time, whenever it comes out. And then eventually I do want to add, since I've got an 01, I'm thinking of adding an 03, but I'd like to get an 01 that is not a Christmas version of the 01. But yes, here is Emma. This is Emma. It's a 3rd rail Märklin, and there is a Jim Knopf, or Jim Button as he's called in English, and a Lukas der Lokomotiv. This is from the 2016 movie, and then there was a 2020 sequel made. But this now is my grandson's. And like I said, he loves to shunt with it. Good question. All I can tell you is it's the new Märklin one coming out this year. That's the best I can tell you, Ifo. I'd have to look up the catalog. And read it real fast. Somebody told me that, in fact, I think it was you told me that a Class 23 would be a good one to run with some of my stock and somewhere down the line, I'll probably have to buy a Class 103, but that's not a, that's something else. Now, I'm looking through the, see, there's the Class 52 they're releasing, but I got the Class 50, which I love, and I'm happy enough with that. The 86, the new 86, the Class 042. You guys have no idea what I'm showing. Maybe I'll pop it on real fast. Don't panic if the screen goes black for a second. There we go. Now I just got to fit it all into screen. This is what I'm looking at while you guys are watching trains go around. If I can get this to, there we go. This is what I've been looking at. But, yeah, I'm eventually going to have to... What the heck? Why did you shrink on me there, dude? But, the Class 23, somewhere in here, darn it, somewhere in here. Another Class 218, which I've got. Another 220. Where is that class? That thing's already sold out. That Silverlinger there, the Silver Arrow. Not the Silverlinger, the Silver Arrow. That's the big one that's coming for me hopefully soon. I got it in the Baden-Württemberg, just to have a different color. I originally ordered in this color and then changed my order. But where is that class? There's a Class 187. I'm thinking of picking this one up. But where is that Class 23? Or was it, oh, was the Class 23 in the, oh, it might have been in the fall or summer new items. Or is that it? Well, that's... Oh, well, that's it. Sorry, guys. I'm not finding it. If I find it again, it might have been in the summer catalog. It might be in the summer catalog. Well, hello, Sir Ken. Well, M-Track you can't go wrong with. I mean, it's classic. There's a lot. There are dozens of channels and layouts dedicated to Märklin's M-Track, the old track. And yeah, it's got to kind of be analog, although you can still kind of run digital trains on the M-Track, just carefully. I'm going to see if I can find that. See, now I'm trying to find it so I can show it to you. No, that's the new Class 18. Oh, for goodness sakes, leave me alone. Pop-up ads for security. Here it is. Yep, okay, it was in the summer Neuheiten. So, bear with me. I'm going to pop this up again. And this time, let's just see the 23 I pre-ordered. So, let's go to Windows. And voila, there it is. So that is the Class 23 I've ordered. So this would have been the late era versions. As you can read, it says how it looked around 1970. It worked with passenger trains, so I think it would work with some of the older tin plates I have. Okay, well, at this stage, Ifo, I hope I don't sound harsh. I didn't care about that. I wanted one that would look good with those 1960s tin plates I have. Actually, the tin plates are from the 70s, but they're made to look like the passenger cars that Germany ran in the 60s. And I was told by a few friends, and I thought you might have been one of the ones that mentioned as well, but I know Jean Ricard and a few others said this Class 23 would work with them just fine. And so I'm eager to do that. Because I think that's the only thing I ordered out of the summer Neuheiten. No, I didn't order that one. A Class 110. I debated on this one, but I basically already have half this. Anyhow, Joyce is here walking around. I'm not sure what all she's doing. So let's move the mic over. Oh yeah, Kyan grab that house off the floor and put it up there.
Oh, here kitty kitties club. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I had this on for you.
Oh, no.
Well, oh, I'm sorry about that. Or did you go backwards from it?
I don't think I did.
Yeah, there it is. So.
Okay.
And let's get you on camera. Ohio never looked so mountainous.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Tom. Hi, Raymond. Hi, Northwest. That's an Andy. Hi, Mick. Valley, which is Edward, right?
Yep. Happy.
Hi,
no, that
Chris?
that Valley is Chris.
That Valley is
Happy
Chris.
Valley is
I
Edward.
know that. Good golly. All right. Yeah, no, you're right. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Kieran. Hi, Artie. Hi, Rabbit. That's not a rabbit. Hi, Kangaroo.
Lobby, you don't know shit today, do you? You don't know people's names. You don't know what kind of animal I am. What the hell?
Everyone. Hi, Joe. Okay, cool. So anyway, hi to whoever I haven't said hello to.
Oh,
If
I
I missed you, so anyway, gosh, I look huge there.
You always look cute.
Huge.
Oh. I thought you said cute. I hate it when they put those ads up there.
Yeah, I don't know you're
All right,
worried
well,
about
I'm going
it.
to redo this because then it gets rid of them.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So now you're back.
More commercials.
And the chat. There's the chat.
Okay.
Hey, Sir Joe Ryder is here. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Sean. Nice to see you, or at least.
And Klaus DeVos, this is my wife Joyce, who is a very,
Hello,
very
Klaus.
tolerant person of the model train world.
For sure. My T-shirt was actually the Eclipse that we had back in April, but I decided I'd just keep wearing the T-shirt because what the heck.
Yeah.
So it says Ohio on it.
Hey,
and,
Artie's awake.
where
Hello,
we are?
Sir Artie.
So anyway, I hope that explains it enough. But I just like to get
Well, I
enough
will
use
check
out
it
of my
out,
T-shirt.
Klaus.
Yeah, Ohio Eclipse T-shirt.
The problem is, I want to apologize now. I can't hear the name Klaus or any variation of the name Klaus without going to John Wick 3. I am Klaus.
So anyway, I'm just putting him on my other channel. Let me give him a like. Gotta get past the commercials. There, I can like it. Where's the same number? There we go up to 33.
Okay.
Super.
And yep, he runs them tracks.
Okay, so there you are.
There you go.
Okay,
Now,
so I got it right.
oh, you know what? Wow.
Oh, it really, I just didn't expect it to be as cool as it was, and very honestly. Well, there were a few, weren't there? A few groups that decided this was it. And good heavens, there's eclipse everywhere, every year.
Here's
somewhere,
Klaus
I
Channel.
should say.
He has 6 subscribers. Actually, has 7 now because of me.
Okay, so Klaus feels like a newbie. So check
Klaus.
Klaus out.
Hey, Simon. Welcome in, Sir Simon from
Be
the
supportive,
SJ Train
share
World.
the love,
Sir Simon of Jensen.
Oh, hi, Simon. So, anyway, yeah.
But in case you did not read the note or weren't here at the beginning, Joyce and I will be ending the stream in about 20 minutes because we are hitting the highway. This is Joyce's last weekend fling before she goes back to work next week.
Yep.
So, Artie, I don't know if I will be on the live stream tomorrow night because we're going down south and Joyce has arranged to have dinner with our son while we're down there.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
So I don't know if we'll be out of dinner and back to the hotel by 8 or whenever we'll get back.
Or if you live streams from my son's house. We'll see. Sit out the back, Jack. Take a train.
Better be coy,
Train.
Roy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What is all the thing?
Life is a highway. I'm gonna ride it all night.
Yeah.
I am currently working on 2 new parody songs. And Joyce just looked at the one I was starting today, which I think will be
I
pretty
could
good. And
probably
she's just like,
sing.
I can't sing that one.
I probably can sing it. I just don't really like the song.
You don't?
No, not really.
Oh, that's a classic.
I know it's a classic.
There is a house
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
What do you do your gut?
They call the rising sun.
Yeah.
And it's
We'll
been
see.
the ruin of many a
Yeah,
poor
maybe you
boy.
should sing it.
What?
You're doing alright. You're supposed to.
Am I?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. You know, when you do your mocking voices, that's when you sing the best.
Sadly, that's true.
I don't know why, but that is the thing.
I can do Rusty Twinger. There is a house down an old big gulch. They call the Ishi Crash.
Yeah, see how he works? Yeah, I get nervous when he starts playing a song a lot. Like, dang it.
Dang it, here's another new song.
There's another song I'm going to have to sing.
Okay, great, no problem. We'll work out great.
What'll work out great?
Sound at least a little sad,
Oh,
Artie, because
right,
I'm
okay.
feeling bad. I even growled a bit today. It's
Okay.
like, why did you schedule dinner when you know Saturday is my live stream? But it's kind of rude to say, son, I love you, but I gotta talk on the internet.
Oh. Well, you know he knows that. Oh, I'm sorry, Artie. Been a nightmarish week.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Artie.
Yeah, so, alright, something's wrong here. We have 33 people watching and only 32 likes.
Hey, actually, that's pretty good.
I know it is. But still, come on. Somebody in here hasn't given you a like.
No, well, not
Probably
recently.
not,
We
but
saw
probably
Dan
more
Tour
than one.
Station years and years ago, and to be honest, I don't even think I could remember what it looked like. I know we've been to Down Tour Station because we took it, we went over to it to get to a place we wanted to see,
Yeah,
and we only did
somewhere
that one time. All right, good night, EFO. Thank you.
else. It's alright, Simon.
You didn't have to do Daisy.
I didn't. It's alright. Heading off for the dog's walk. Alright. Well, thanks for coming in here, Ford Mountain.
Hereford Martin. Yep.
Hereford Martin. Yeah. Well, I really.
Well,
like
we're
that
here
song.
every Friday. Hopefully,
So, yeah,
some of you will be
hopefully-
here every Friday.
Hopefully you liked what you saw. and you
Normally
come
we'd
back.
be going for another hour and 22
Yeah, typically
minutes,
we
but
do.
we're ending it short today.
We'll lose people at 5 anyway because they're going to bed. Okay, cool. We'll watch out for it.
See, the problem is if I started earlier, like at 2 o'clock, and then went to 5, then you would never be on the stream during the work year.
It'd be harder for me.
Because you don't usually make it home until 4:40 or whatever. But so yeah, the time I'm at is just the best time. It worked when I was teaching. It worked
Yeah,
when I'm
and
retired.
It helps you catch Americans still. And thank you. We hope to. We're doing a little Ohio exploring.
This is Joyce's something she's wanted to do for a while. A couple of
there's a
things
few
in
other
Ohio,
things, but this is one of them.
geological things in Ohio she wants to see.
Yeah.
So if it lives up to her expectations, we'll take some pictures and.
Yeah, I'm filming it and putting it on my channel. It could be.
We're gonna go to the highest point in
It
Ohio.
could be a short.
We're going to the highest. We're going to the highest point in Ohio.
This way.
We're going to the highest point in Ohio, which is this woman named Helga who has double H's when she lays down on her back.
Well,
Sorry.
technically it's called Campbell Hill, and Campbell Hill does not rise up that much from the surrounding land.
Yeah, we're going to Campbell Hill,
However,
and then Joyce is going to lay down on it and make it that much higher.
because it's on a raised area, it's on a actually it's in the plains area, so I can't quite explain it. But it's
Pretty much what it is. It's a big anthill.
pretty much. So whatever, it's the highest point until going west until you hit Nebraska.
That's
so.
right. It's also the highest point west of the Appalachians until you get to Nebraska.
So anyway, Jean says you could just go 4 hours.
She comes. Yeah, I'm not doing 4-hour streams.
That's a lot.
Sorry,
yeah.
John.
All right,
All right, Charlie. Take care.
All right, Charlie's nice. So thanks for coming in, Charlie.
Charlie's nice, so that's okay.
No, it was part to kill.
Yeah, it's part of kill.
Okay.
I know. For years that I watched this channel, I wanted to make and saw him in chats. I wanted to make it Patrick.
Okay.
But it's Partic. The R and the A are
Partic.
reversed.
Partic.
So
Okay.
instead of Patrick, it's Partic.
Gotcha. Hi, Leslie. Anyway, we sure appreciate you.
And Jean Ricard, you could start at 2 and just keep going until we've had an hour of Joyce. This is the same guy who's like, you know, when you run your trains every Friday for 3 hours, that's a lot of running.
Well, yeah, but they rest the rest of the week, so.
Yeah, but it's 3 hours hard labor while they're running.
I don't know. They seem to do all right. Yeah, we do. Wow, they had an earthquake. Is everything all right?
They had an
Nobody
earthquake.
got
Yeah,
hurt?
I had nothing to do with it. Nor did
Yeah,
Ben
we
Kelly.
sure did not. Yeah. You can
I'm
easily
not.
come
No,
up
I'm
with
not
that.
doing 4 hours. It is enough of my day on Fridays, and the reason it worked is I would come home from work. When I would come home from
Okay.
work,
That's not a little earthquake, though. I mean, it's noticeable for sure.
I would get home from work, and you know, of course, I used to start at 3:30, and now I start at 3 since I retired. But I could come home, change, go to the bathroom, come down, set everything up, and start my live stream. And then Joyce would come home between 4 and 5, and Joyce would come and spend a little bit of time on. Now it's Joyce shows up at 5. Joyce is upstairs doing whatever she does. Oh, it's 4:57. I guess I should start getting ready to head downstairs now. She could come on earlier, but she doesn't.
Well, it's a lot for me to sit for an hour. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah, it's a lot for her to sit for an hour.
Unless I'm very comfortable in my lazy boy.
I mean, we get tired to the chair, but that would make this a totally different channel.
Yeah, it sure would. So Japan recently had a 7? I'm trying to remember if I've heard of that.
Yeah, that was, we caught that.
Okay.
Japan got hit.
Man.
But no, didn't hear that Australia had the full bike set. Because we can get 2.3s to, what was the last one we had? What did that hit? Was it 3.5 or?
Something like that.
3.5, 3.6?
And again, most of us don't even notice it. Oh, it was yesterday.
Nope,
Okay.
it's too much time. It's enough stress. It's enough stress getting ready for the 3 o'clock.
So Saturday for you. Woo. But yeah, next week I have a...
See, Joyce is already riding.
Yeah.
Joyce is already in the car, ready to go. She's just sitting there. Do we have everything? We got to be packed. We still got to move the boat over.
Yeah.
Our inflatable boat.
Yeah, we thought we'd take it, because what the heck, we're going to see if we can find the point somebody said was a really good view at a lake that's north of the highest point. It's a man-made lake, by the way. That was one of those questions on Google, and they didn't need to ask. Ohio does not have any natural lakes other than Lake Erie. So if you hear about a lake in Ohio, somebody dug it out.
But there are some caveats to that. For example, we have some areas that were kind of glacial swamp areas, and then when they dredged them, they left a couple areas as lakes.
Well, the lake that we're going to tomorrow
Was part of the Erie
was
Canal.
part of the Miami Erie Canal. They needed, in some areas on the canal, they needed a water source. So they created this lake to fill the canal. So anyway, it's quite a tourist, and it's a state park. Tourist area.
Yeah, there are no natural lakes
It's a Saturday
in Ohio.
morning, it makes sense.
There are no natural lakes in Ohio except for Lake Erie, which is not in Ohio.
Right, it makes
Ohio
up our
borders
northern
it.
border, yeah.
Everything is man-made.
And not all of our
either
border.
from dredging swamps and leaving some of it there, like
Mm-hmm.
Delaware Lake, east of Columbus.
Yeah.
That area was a swampy area, and they dredged it and kind of got a lake out of it. And then,
Okay.
of course, they diverted parts of the Olin, when they dammed and drained parts of the Olin Kanji, it filled it up.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a couple of one of Joyce's little hidden passions is geology.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, when she would take courses on this, we'd go places like Niagara Falls, and Joyce is happily, you know, explaining all the striata of the rocks in the gorge leading away from the falls, technically. Or when we're out west, she would take the kids and explain why
like
the
schist
mountains
too,
had
do ya?
different rows of colors on them.
Yeah. Well, it's representing different
Oh, you're going
eras.
down to Gundagai. Wow, all these places I now know what you're talking about.
Right. That is really cool. I love it when you're posting these things on your channel now, Artie, and we know what you're talking about. We've seen that area too. Well, Igneous Rock was part of the blowhole in Kayama.
Yep.
That was very, very cool. Good science there too.
Yep. Well, metamorphic. Oh, they're throwing it all at you now,
Yeah,
dear.
I know, yeah, it's okay. Okay, Artie, that's cool. Now you are back up on the hill 66? Hill
60.
60, that's right. Hill 60, which we recognized. And then you were on Woolgum Beach, I think was one of your...
No, he went down to where the beach between the
right,
lake and
right,
the ocean.
right. So, yeah, we had a reference for that, but we did not exactly go right there.
Because we hadn't been to that part, but that
But
was
again,
cool.
it's somewhere that we knew where where you were.
We were close to it.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Right. So,
Well, Raymond, hopefully it
yeah,
passed.
that's great, Artie.
Hopefully it passed easy and you didn't have to see a doctor about it. He said he once had a giant lump of sandstone.
You got it out yourself. A lot of water helps, rounds it out. But
That's a fancy way to refer to a kidney stone. But bum.
yeah, very much. Right, the entrance to the lake.
More to show. Well, let's see. What year are we going back to Australia?
After I retire.
Maybe 2027. So yeah.
Yeah.
Because 2025 is Germany again. 2026 is the UK again.
I don't know. I think the fall we could afford to go to Australia that year.
Of what year?
When am I retiring?
2027.
You're right. So, okay. Yep.
But yeah, we could go, because you're retired, we can now go late in the year.
Right.
Later in the year, we won't necessarily be traveling in June. There's a lot to like about traveling to Germany in June, but when you retire, we could go in May, where it's still nicer there, but like maybe go to Vienna once when it's May and maybe not getting
quite into the heat.
The 35,
Oh.
those 32 to 35 Celsius days we had when we were in Vienna.
Pretty miserable. Mark it on the calendar.
Well, seriously, we plan these things out in advance.
We do.
In the old days, it was easy. Germany every year. Germany, where are you going next year? Germany, where are you going next year? Germany, it was just, once the exchange program stopped, it was just, okay, what places do we want to see?
I don't know. We maybe can't book that fast, though. That close to it.
What do you mean?
If we went in 27, because I would retire in June.
Yeah. We'd be still booking it ahead of time.
Yeah,
but,
well, yeah, but it might be a lot.
Because, of course, your next trip to Australia, what are you planning on doing?
Oh, we're stopping either in Fiji or Hawaii.
Yeah, Joyce has already decided we're spending a week in Fiji or Hawaii when we go down.
I wasn't spending a week. I think a couple days is fine.
Okay, 3-4 days? Gotcha.
Even 2.
In which case, we might have to hit a travel agent and just say, get us a plane to here, then a plane to there, and then one plane on the way back.
You'd figure it out. I have great faith in you.
See what that's going to cost me money and time down the road. That stupid diversion to Honolulu, and now we have to go to Hawaii or Fiji.
Well, it was cool. But the nice thing about it is it breaks up that flight. That flight is horrible. Horrible, awful, no good, horrible.
Yeah, but it's still 8 hours from Honolulu. Or
yeah, it's better than 14. I don't mind doing 6 and then 8.
Well, as long as I'm on those pills, apparently
cool,
I
Artie.
won't mind.
Anthony's going to take a lot of his pills for that. Yeah, that's what we were just talking, John, is to make it a little more...
but, you know, there's a reason certain times are the holiday times, or the holiday season sort of thing, the travelers, because it's when the weather's the best.
Yeah, it's when the weather's pleasant.
I mean, yes, there's a couple of times, like when we went to Salzburg and Vienna, it was tough being in Vienna in June because it was so full of tourists. And, of course, we're tourists, too.
Right. You starting to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is one of the things we try to do, is that normally when we travel, we don't go specifically, like where we stay, we tend not to stay in the tourist cities. Although, when we went to Salzburg and Vienna, we lived 4 days in Salzburg and 3 days in Vienna.
We knew, yeah, it was a...
I will say I was a little surprised at how heavy Salzburg was full of... it was just packed with tourists. I figured there'd be
Yikes.
some, but there was a lot.
No need for blue pills.
Indeed. Yeah, Artie, things like that. Yeah, no. You can get your pilot's license if you want, but I'll still be flying something else.
Oh, I don't know. To take little hopping trips through Australia? I think we'll do fine.
I am not going to fly in one of those little Cessnas or something like
You'll
that.
do
No,
fine
no,
in a
no,
little
no, no, no.
Cessna.
No, you're not hearing me. I will not be riding in one of those little Cessnas. You put me in an actual jet airplane. Don't tell me which is safer, what's not safer. That tiny little space for 2 hours, I will be screaming even on my pills.
Oh, something to knock you out.
Bring a sledgehammer. But so anyhow, yeah, we got to get ready to hit the road. We got a little bit of packing, but we're gonna literally be pulling out of the driveway, hopefully within 20 minutes here if we can.
All right.
Oh, there's Anthony and Choberton. Sorry, we're
Anthony.
wrapping up early because Joyce and I are going on the highway for Joyce's last weekend of freedom before she goes back to work. Right?
Yep.
You're ready to celebrate, right?
Yep.
You are going to have a wild, crazy weekend, right?
Yep.
You've got your fun bag packed, right?
Yep.
All those crazy outfits, right?
Yep. Oh, well, okay. We'll see, Artie.
It's not guaranteed. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I don't know.
Take him on a hot air balloon.
Oh, hell no. No hot air balloon either. Nope.
So
I'll need
anyway, one of you could go live and just take everybody over with you if you want.
Yeah. Well, one of you guys go live for an hour and finish it up and just, let the pub crawl continue. But we got to get going. So, sorry for the short weekend this time, guys. It's always an honor and a privilege. We are so lucky to have
last week.
We are so lucky to have all of you people that come and hang with us for part of your Fridays.
We sure are.
We really appreciate it. So, to everybody watching on catch up, as well as all of you who stayed in here, and those of you who had to leave, and those who stay hiding in the background, we want to thank you all once again. And as always, on behalf of the amazing Joyce and myself, we're going to say, Auf Wiedersehen.
Choose.
And happy trains. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.